there, my name's Mark Davis. I'm CEO of UpViral, and I've got with me today Mitch Aunger. Is that correct, Mitch? Aunger?
Yes.
And how are
Thank you,
you
Mark.
today?
I'm excited to be here. I really appreciate you having.
Well, this is a different type of, no, it's not a matter of, it's us appreciating you, to be quite honest, Mitch, because normally we do a case study based on, how well a campaign has been for an individual or a company. We've got lots of those, but this is a very special thing. This is because you've actually reached a special milestone. And so this case study is about you and how you actually have used UpViral to do this. And what I'm talking about specifically is you reached that magical milestone of 250,000 leads. And to be exact, I've got the number here. I wrote it down: 257,087 leads. Now, over how many years, or months, weeks, or days did it take you to achieve that, Mitch?
That was actually just one day. I just posted magic.
Nice one.
Nice one, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is over time. And to be honest with you, Mark, that's actually not the right number, because those are only the leads that were gathered inside of UpViral in my account. I have run many campaigns for clients in their account, so I don't even have those numbers.
If you were to put obviously the 250,000 that we're talking about here in your own personal account is great. If you what do you think you've also done for those clients who use UpViral that you've helped? What do you think that number could be if you were to combine them together?
It's probably 50,000, maybe 75,000.
Additionally.
Like yeah.
Okay, cool.
But again, it's not about the numbers. If we're going to get into that, it's about targeted leads. So
exactly, but
just get excited about numbers.
Yeah, but that's what this is. This case study is a numbers. You reach that magical milestone. There are not many people who can actually claim to have created 250,000 emails. Let's face it, opted in emails into an email list over a 4-year period. And using UpViral as the tool, obviously this is not just direct stuff. This is referred. This is showed exactly how UpViral can actually spread around. Now, I've got a series of questions for you. How many campaigns do you think this has that you've done to actually create these leads? Tell me more about that.
Well, I have been keeping track for the longest time, because what I did was I created a spreadsheet to be able to start looking at data, because that's one of the things that I like to look at to see where I can improve, right? If you're not looking at the results. So in that spreadsheet, there's like 43 different campaigns, but I kind of quit for a while because I was working with clients and doing this and that. So I suspect that I have personally done 70 campaigns directly with clients, and then I've advised on probably 20 or 30 other clients all on their own, where I wasn't physically managing the campaign and keeping track of all the stats.
So now I don't have a calculator at hand. Do you have one there, Mitch?
I have an iPhone, yeah.
Okay, so if we were to divide 257,087 leads by 70 campaigns, what number do you come out with there?
Well, I do happen to know that one. I don't know it exactly, but last time I looked it up, it was about 3,500 leads per campaign.
So about 3,500 leads per campaign on average. That is awesome work, there.
It is.
And
congratulations. Thank you. I've had some clunkers and I've had some really good ones. But
what's the worst you've had?
I think the lowest was 60, which
and the
was 52,000, I think, is the biggest one I've ever done.
That's cool. And what is it about the clunker that you think? Is there anything in the clunker? Was that early on, or was that something that just, why did that fail? What was it? Was that just something I should never have done that?
Well, actually, to be honest, because I like to be honest,
Mm.
that was something that my wife and I did for her MLM business.
Yeah.
And we just didn't push it very hard. We didn't do a lot of planning. We didn't do a lot of pushing.
That
And
is
it
not
was,
like that is not like you, Mitch.
uh, I won't say anymore.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. You know, these campaigns that you did, 70 odd campaigns that you ran, were these all in different niches, or were they all different verticals? Give us a flavor of the type of niches that you've been working in to create these leads.
So, great question. Often asked, by the way. I've done campaigns mainly for camera gear. When I first started out, I was running a photography and video blog, and I was running campaigns for the camera, tripods, that kind of stuff. And when the light bulb went off, and we'll talk about that story later, but it suddenly dawned on me that you could do this in other niches, right? So I started with the horse niche. I met somebody that was in the camera business, and I helped her with her horses. I've done the woo-woo kind of stuff with meditation, travel, accounting, coaching, fire eating. I worked with one woman.
Whoa. I got it. You can't expect me to let you carry on at that point and go fire eating.
Huh. I suspected you would stop me there.
Yeah.
Now, again, she decided not to go forward with actually doing a campaign, but we talked about it because what she was doing is teaching people how to do fire eating. And what she was struggling with is, how do I get leads for that, right?
I would actually
really
be struggling with making sure they've all got fire insurance in case they burn their houses down.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Now, on the other hand, just so people are aware of a time in history when we're having this interview, we're currently in the lockdown of the COVID pandemic, where a lot of people are wanting to learn how to do something new. This would be perfect for her, because someone out there, hey, I'm going to learn how to do fire eating.
Yeah, exactly.
So what other sort of niches have you done campaigns?
I've helped with thread campaigns, sewing, jewelry,
embroidery, yeah. And is there one particular niche that not necessarily is gets you more leads than others? We'll come to that in a minute. But is there one particular niche you think, I really enjoy working in that particular niche?
Not so far. They're all very challenging. What I don't like is businesses that haven't really thoroughly thought out what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's where the struggle comes, is when they aren't quite focused yet and don't know some of the basics. The people that know what their business is, those are easy. And I enjoy meeting and talking to them because they are energized about what they're doing.
And I've got a question here. This is quite a long question, so I'm going to have to refer to it as I read it. I've got, based on your experience, talking about niches, are there strategies that work in one niche that don't work in another niche? For example, the strategy of holding a sale at the end of a contest or a giveaway, that really works well. For example, Bunky Life and Gabe, they've run that strategy. So, but would that not work with other niches? So, what works with one niche? Have you found that some things work with others, or is it open game? What have you discovered in your 250,000 lead fest?
There's a lot of different issues to be addressed depending upon the specific type of business. The most difficult are sort of the business to business kind of things, because it's not the product, but it's the target market, right? Because a business to business arrangement is a little bit harder to share. part of the great feature of UpViral is you're asking people to share, and we give them the tools to do it on Facebook and Twitter and all these different social medias. But that doesn't always necessarily work in a business-to-business kind of arrangement, which in fact was part of the conversation with the fire eating lady. Because I suggested actually that she kind of go more towards focusing on maybe team building lessons as opposed to trying to get individual people to sign up.
Yeah.
Because then you can go after businesses, put a team together, and that's a bigger, higher sale than maybe just getting mom who wants to learn how to, you know, do a fun trick for parties or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's more of not the type or not the specific product, but the type of business that I struggle with in most often, even in business to business, we kind of direct them more towards a rewards program where they take their existing people that know, love, and trust them and try to spread the word, as opposed to just throwing mass promotion out there and hoping that people see it and drop in.
What's been the best strategy for you? You know, like, with this amount of experience, 250,000 leads, 4 years, 70 odd campaigns, probably over 100 actually, if we go to the clients as well. If I was to come to you and knock on your door today and say, hey, I want you to do me a viral campaign, what is your go-to strategy? What your framework that, right, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is it, this is my A game list, this is what is your go-to strategy on setting a campaign up?
Man,
in a nutshell, not short.
Yeah, I know I can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
The key really is to do planning and to sit down with the client, student, whatever, and think about what your best assets are and what your future direction is. Because one of the things I like to say is this is a long play, right? This is not a one campaign and done process. And so what we do is we sit down, we plan out what's going to happen. We typically do this 3 prize strategy that you and I will probably talk about.
That is exactly where I just want to press the pause button there, because that, I think, is a real, if you get to the real success of your campaigns, it's that 3. Do you want to explain to people watching this what that is? Because I think it's a key thing.
Yes, thank you. And it wasn't created by me.
Doesn't matter who created it. Does not matter.
All right. It's a 3-prong approach, because one of the most difficult things in any campaign is to get people to share, right? It's easy to get potential people to sign up for your offer because they know, love, and trust you. But the difficult thing is getting people to share. Let's be honest. Nobody inherently wants to get more people in a contest. They want to
because they may win. Because if I see your super sexy prize that you're giving away and I think, oh yeah, I want to do that, most people psychologically think, I'm not really going to win it, or someone else is. So therefore, if I share it with my friends, I don't want them to, I want to win it, but the more I share, the more chances that someone else is going to get and the less chance I have.
Correct.
And the other thing is, you also don't want to see your friend win it, because they'll have it and you'll get your nose rubbed in it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So the 3 prizes are, we typically do a random draw, right? Everybody gets 1 chance to win when they sign up, and many people are okay with their 1 chance to win something. But in order to get them to share, that's where we pull in prize 2 and prize 3. Prize 2, we typically do a most points thing. Now, some people don't like most points campaigns because they don't think they have a big enough social media network to get tons and tons of points. But there are some people who do, and as a contest owner, the runner of the campaign, I love those people because they're helping me build my business, right?
Yeah.
And then the third one is your friend wins, you win too. To take advantage of those people like you just mentioned, we give them bonus chances to win. So when they got one to sign up, but now we're going to give them something crazy like 50 extra chances if they sign up their neighbor, their friend, or whatever. But if their friend wins, then they win the same prize too. And therefore, you're hitting 3 different groups of people or different psychological events inside of one person, maybe. And you're addressing many of the objections to a campaign. Oh, I don't want to share because it would be spamming, or, you know, I don't think I have enough social media cred to get a lot of points, etc. So you're hitting all the objections in the prize package.
Now, obviously, that's your go-to. That's the formula that works for you, and we've seen that in other campaigns. You know, Gabe does it. I think Bunky Life's done it. I'm not 100% sure, but I've seen other people do it. It seems to work very well. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to have 3 prizes. I mean, because some people will be looking at this and going, hang on a minute, 3 prizes. This is going to cost me a fortune. So how do you get around that? What would you say to people thinking, oh, this is going to cost me an absolute fortune? Is that the case?
It is not the case. Thank you for asking, because the Bunky example is a very good one, right? In the 2020 campaign that he just ran, he gave away a $9,000 grand prize.
Yeah.
The 3 prize methodology, he's not able to do 3 $9,000 prizes, right? What he did in his case was that he did the grand prize of $9,000, and then he did the top 10 people got a major discount on a purchase, right? So he didn't have to give them anything other than, you know, cash out of his profit pocket. But he got people working really hard for that most points. So that was, he did 2 of the 3. In most cases, you don't have to give away a $9,000 prize.
Now, just to clarify, he wasn't giving $9,000 in cash away. He was giving a bunkie away, which cost $9,000.
Yes.
Well, it didn't cost him. That was the retail. He obviously isn't getting it for that. But in most cases, people are, you know, that's not the case. They might have nutrition bars. And the only reason I picked that up is because I know you did a campaign, which I was blown away with, by the way, for these nutrition bars. And did that have the same, did that follow the 3 prize rule?
Yes. We had this conversation yesterday. So it's whether or not the prizes are all equal is open to interpretation. In the nutrition bars example, we had the grand random prize was 6 months of this membership. So you got 6 months of their bars. The second and third prizes were 3 months. So they weren't all equal value, but that's what they chose to do. And in that case, we brought in 7,800 leads for a relatively small prize package.
For granola bars. You know, that's a great, I mean, because I remember when you showed me this, this will never work. And wow, it worked. And it worked really, really well. So well done.
And that's quite the struggle in many of these cases, Mark, is this going to work? I don't have the magic answer. You don't have the magic answer. It's a matter of testing, right? Don't spend a whole ton of money. I know the Bunky example is a great example, and it works. But
that's
really
an extreme.
Well.
That's an extreme example.
It is an extreme example, and I know plenty of people that are bringing in high quality leads with a $97 prize. It doesn't have to be expensive, especially on your first or second or third try. Test it. See how it works.
Well, actually, you bring me to another question, really, which I want to ask. Because you're saying there on your first, you know, when you first start off, you don't need expensive prizes. And this is what I want to ask you. I just want you to go back in the way back machine, and I want you to go right back to the beginning. When you first started with UpViral, what were not so much the number, but what were the main mistakes that you made when you first got going? And also the second question is to the second part to it is, although you made those mistakes then, do you still see people making those mistakes that you did then now?
Of course. It's a challenge to understand the process, I think. Most of us, maybe that are entrepreneurs and just starting out, don't necessarily understand how valuable the marketing side of our business is, and we don't necessarily focus on it. We want to do sales, right? We don't necessarily understand that building our list is a great asset. And so when people put up campaigns, and I have done this plenty of times, you just put up an image of the product and say, win this thing. And the assumption is that everybody knows what this thing is. Now, sometimes it's really obvious, like an iPad, iPhone, everybody knows, loves, trusts those things. Yeah, I want one. But for your own business, you've got to do a contest. And this is kind of the iPad theory, is that they're not targeting their customers. Right?
Okay, so the biggest mistake you did when you first started was offering a prize that you thought was great, but it didn't resonate with your audience.
Great summary of something, yes, because we tend to think that it's very easy and that everybody loves the thing that we're trying to sell, when maybe sometimes you have to do some convincing. You have to teach them about the pain point. I mean, if you look at a coach, for example, difficult because it's not something that's tangible like a phone or jewelry or any physical product. You have to address the pain points. I can solve your problem with procrastination, and here's how I'm going to do it. Now, sometimes, for example, you don't give away necessarily your coaching time because people may not know you. But there are other things that you could offer that would attract the right people. So it comes back to, it's all about the offer. You've got to make the offer appealing to your target market.
So when you first started with UpViral, what we're talking about here is, the mistakes that were made were, I didn't think about it enough, didn't plan it enough, and the offer I put in front of people, although I thought it was super sexy, when someone sees it for the first time or someone shares it with their friends, it's like, so what? It's a free iPhone.
Right.
It needs to be something that resonates, that's relative. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay. Now, this is something interesting because I'm just going to read this because this really is a real good question, in my opinion. And it's going to be very difficult to answer this. Are there secrets to running a super successful campaign that most UpViral visitors don't know about yet? Now, the reason this could be difficult to explain is you may not want to give away your super secret Mitch sauce. So if I understand if you don't want to do that, but it's a good question because are there things that UpViral users don't know about yet? What is there out there that you've seen? I keep seeing this. I know you should keep an eye on not only your campaigns but other people's campaigns. Are there things that people don't know about or just haven't noticed that's going on with other campaigns that you think, I see what they're doing there, that's very clever? Is there something out there, maybe one or two things that you can enlighten people with?
Yes.
Okay.
And it isn't necessarily a matter of keeping a secret sauce. I'm kind of the belief that if you share, people will start to understand, and then they will know, like, and trust you more, right? Just like selling a product.
Yeah.
It's the kind of, long-term putting a plan together and implementing. So the things that I wrote down when you asked me this question before was, simple answer is the 3-prize strategy. I mean, realistically, nobody thinks about that when they're first putting together their first campaign or the second or their third. And when they see it, they're like, oh, that is gold, right? You've done the same thing.
I agree. And I'm glad you brought it back because it is one of those things, isn't it? Right. I mean, I see very few people in UpViral using that strategy. And when I explain that strategy, and I've also seen you, when you explain it to an audience, they go, wow. And
Exactly.
yet it's been there for a long, long time.
Yeah. The other two things that I wrote down were planning, and that includes, by the way, traffic. People don't think enough about traffic. They say, I'll just run some Facebook ads. But there are a whole ton of other places where you can find people that don't cost you the big bucks like potentially Facebook ads can do. Influencers, other ways of finding traffic, but they just kind of assume that if I build it, they will come, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've started talking about it like it's magic, right? It's, if you're a magician, do you know how to cut the lady in half on the very first day? No. You have to learn the process. And then once you do that, it becomes magic. But until you spend the time working in the process, again, it's a long-term game. It is not a one and done offer, right? If you're going to do this right, you're going to do multiple campaigns over time. You're going to tweak things. You're going to find out what works, what doesn't. And then you're going to put a lot of money into it because it's going to work like.
On that note, I also, that goes perfectly into this question. And my next question is, does spending more time or money on a campaign often lead to bigger or better results? Now, that's a split question because you're talking about more time, more money. And I know you mentioned, that, the better it works, the more you can put into it. But
the biggest thing that you can do is to invest in time. It's the planning and I know a lot of people think this is kind of silly, but if you get in and really understand who your avatar is, the perfect person to buy your end result, whether it's a service or a product or whatever, the people that have invested the time in figuring those things out. I had a client that I worked with a couple of months ago, and I was on the discovery call with him, and I said, do you know who your avatar is? He says, yeah. It's a woman who loves Trump and is 50 to 60 years old. He had it nailed, absolutely nailed for what his target market was. And it was really easy to get in and build a campaign for that. So once you nail those things down, and again, spend time doing the planning side, figuring out what your best assets are that you can offer, then you can dump money into it later.
Yeah, because I remember asking this question with Dave at Bunky Life.
Right.
Because, this thing was, I can't remember how many leads, but we're talking thousands, tens of thousands of leads, if it's not mistaken. And I think in his first campaign, he did like $600,000 in sales. It rocked. But what I discovered was how little he spent on Facebook ads. And he actually said to me, if I'd have known the campaign was going to go this way, I'd have thrown the mortgage. I'd have thrown my house on Facebook ads. Because he said, once you've got it working and you see that the return on investment, I spend $1, I get $10 back or whatever it is, then it's just a matter of leveraging your campaign. So, but I agree that knowing what your client wants, what your avatar is, and what they want as a prize and engagement. Because not only knowing your avatar, would you agree that if you know your avatar, it's not just about, oh, this is what they like to win, but it's also how they can get points, how you can motivate them to do other things because the understanding. So it makes them more engaged with the campaign, would you say?
Exactly. And you also know the words to say to them to get their boat going, right? It's easier to mark. I mean, David's the perfect example with the bunkie. He knows those people, right? Not everybody wants this house that they can put in the corner of their property. Not everybody has property. But man, he knows how to talk to those people. He's learned their language. He knows what floats their boat, and he talks directly to that.
Now, you were involved in that campaign, weren't you, in some way? I don't know exactly how you were. Do you want to explain how you were involved in that?
To some degree, it was a lot of learning on my side because David is an expert. I mean, he will tell you he's not. He's just doing what works. But he really knows how to talk to those people. He knows how to get them excited and warmed up. I was simply there to help him understand how UpViral works and how he could leverage things like the secret word custom action. And we added this year, we added scavenger hunt. And he was like, "Oh, that's going to work great," and it did.
He's absolutely really very. I think that is absolutely very genius. So well done. Do you want to explain to people what you mean by a scavenger hunt as part of your campaign?
A custom action is a function that gets people to go to any URL on the planet. And so what I suggested to David was to take them into his demonstrations of his different bunkies that he sells and ask, for example, maybe on a particular bunkie, there would be a secret word on the page because each bunkie has its own page. And he took it a step farther and went, I need to take some new pictures of those. And so what he did was he actually put a sign inside the picture of one of the bunkies, and that was his. So it got people to go to his pages and to really look around inside the bunkies and basically put themselves there going, oh, I can feel this. I can imagine myself being there. So it's just kind of taking the traditional scavenger hunt where you are going to look for things and putting it on steroids and rewarding them for it.
And again, it comes down to planning,
right?
And these little things make a big thing when you start doing it, because I've noticed with your campaigns, the thought process that goes into it, once you've got that process, it literally then becomes a matter of just, right, okay, I'll run this every month now. It's just a matter of, you just keep pulling the hand, padong, padang, bang, bang. You just keep crunching it and crunching it. What about, are you one of these guys? I mean, there's a lot of marketers, a lot of people inside who use UpViral that just simply chuck out a campaign. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, next. Do you do a lot of split testing? Is that key to your success as well?
I'm grinning because I'm frustrated myself in that I don't feel like I do enough of that.
Oh, right. Okay.
It is one of those things that you kind of have to learn and understand how it works. Because many of us would put up like, oh, I'll pick template A and I'll pick template B and I'll put both pages up and see which one wins. And you don't necessarily really learn from something like that. And it becomes difficult. What I have done with some clients is try to split test campaign 1 that ran in May versus campaign 3, which ran in June, right? Sometimes you have different traffic sources. I mean, it's not just necessarily a pure black and white, what was obvious, what worked and what didn't, which is why I spend a lot of time looking at data. And during campaigns, I am constantly looking at the data to see where we're not doing so well. David and I did that quite a bit in the Bunkie campaign of going, what's working and what's not, and let's do more of what's working. And as you said, a lot of people just put the campaign up and then they go back and then they wait to see what happens at the end of the campaign. And that's not the way I work. So I do some split tests, but I look right now more at the data to see what's working and what's not.
What's when you, because I know you do a lot of training as well for UpViral customers. What's the one thing that the main thing you get asked? What is the main thing? I can guarantee I'm going to stand on that stage and I'm going to get asked this, and this. Within 5 minutes, I know I'm going to get asked this one thing. What's the one thing that you always get asked?
How do I make a campaign go viral?
And your reply to something like that is what?
Planning.
Yeah.
I know I've harped on this a couple of times today,
It's okay.
but if you don't sit down and do the planning aspects of your campaign, you're not going to know what's going to take it viral. It's not just magic. Like I talked before, you don't just throw it in a tool and have it happen. You have to plan for it.
If we was to put an analogy around this, it's almost like you wouldn't jump in a Ferrari unless you have done your driving test.
Very good. Very good. I like that.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you. And this question is this. When you do your planning, do you have a planning sheet? Do you have do you have a process that you go through, a planning document or a planning steps? Or do you have something like that?
I do. Great question.
Oh, cool. And how many pages is this?
I don't know if I've ever looked at the pages. It's not, but 2 or 3 max.
Okay.
And it goes through, what's your avatar? I mean,
Yeah.
and if I hand this to a client, what's your avatar? Who is your target person? What kind of marketing have you done before? What's worked, what hasn't? Do you know the languaging? What assets do you have that you could give away? Because many people don't even make the time. They just think, oh, I'm going to give away my thing. And it might not be the thing that people really desperately, would want to win.
Yeah.
So, and you also need to be thinking about, the sharing aspects. What rewards could I offer? And
so, well, I've got a question for you, Mitch.
Yes.
And this comes down to the generosity of your heart. Everyone watching this now is going to want to know, where can I get my hands on this planning sheet that Mitch uses? Would you be good enough to let them be able to download it from, that we could give it them?
Sure. Yes.
Oh, dude, just so you guys also know, Mitch actually not only uses UpViral for himself, but Mitch actually runs an agency as well using UpViral. And, if you ever want to find out more if Mitch can help you in any way, shape or form, all you've got to do is go to the UpViral Facebook group. Mitch is very, very active in there, and he'll be able to answer your questions. And, he'll be able, if you want to retain his services, that's between the two of you. He's there, and he will gladly. And all I can say is that you won't find a better person to do it. Now, that's me blowing your trumpet. You're not allowed to do that.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Much appreciated. Yes. Thank you.
No. It's you do a lot for us. We want to do a lot for you as well. And hitting that milestone of 250,000, that's some achievement, dude. Now I've got one final question to ask you, and then if you feel you want to contribute some gems as well, feel free to do so. My last question is, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to total beginners who are, they are obviously seeing what you're doing, 250,000 leads, and everyone says, I want to do that. Now, without repeating yourself and saying it's planning, it's this, what advice would you actually, apart from those, because I think everyone's got that, what other advice would you give people starting their UpViral journey now, or just started it, or even been with us 12 months or even more, but never had the numbers like you have? What would you say to those people?
The simple answer is to play the long game. I know I've said that multiple times here, but using the magician analogy, you don't become a magician overnight. You don't become a Facebook advertising guru overnight. Start slowly, do your very first campaign. And I don't mean plan the kajibers out of it necessarily. Throw one up there. Do something simple to get used to the process. So many people that I see plan this 5-page funnel that people are going to go through and it's going to be brilliant, when they don't even understand necessarily how the tools work and how they fit together, or if they're using other tools, blah, blah, blah. Start slowly, do planning, put an offer up, put a $97 product up. It's not going to cost you that much, and get started.
So in other words,
I'm sorry.
So in other words, jump in, fail, and learn from it and just constantly
Exactly.
just grow,
Yes.
grow, and have the courage to keep doing that.
So many people put their first contest up. It maybe doesn't work the way they think it's going to work, and they give up because there's another shiny object on the horizon. Marketing has been around for thousands of years, and it's a primary job of your business. This is not the only strategy.
I've actually got a question for you.
Yeah.
I suspect I know what the answer is here, but I do want to ask this question. These 250,000 leads, if we were to put a time frame, you know, if that's a timeline there, I got a sneaky feeling I know what the answer is going to be here. If we were to actually see, if that's the timeline, this is the start and this is the finish, I suspect that what actually happened here is you were chuddering along, going along, things were going okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, it went like that. Is that what happened?
It is very true. It took me a long time to understand the power of contests. It took me a long time, as I said before, to understand the power of your email list. I had to be convinced that I should charge people for running a contest. That's how my learning went, because I did not understand the value of leads. Once the light bulb went off in my head that leads are incredibly valuable, that was actually the trigger that I went from, I'm not going to do that photography video blog much longer, to I'm going to dedicate myself to contests because they're fun, they're engaging, people love to do them, and when done right, they bring you gobs of targeted leads.
Now the good thing, because what I'm going to get into here is that with your experience, you know, people will be looking at this, yeah, well, I want to get my experience, not here, but here. Now, the good thing, if you're watching this, is that the great thing with UpViral, because the tool itself, it reduces. So instead of getting your big boom here, we can reduce that time factor because of the use of UpViral. And also because of things like we've got lots of training inside UpViral, which can shorten your jump. So to make things happen quicker as opposed to wasting time. And we've also got the co-pilot show as well, haven't we, Mitch?
Yes, and the other thing that you have is the viral hacking challenge.
Yeah, I mean, all these things are designed so that you can take all this knowledge, all this experience, and instead of waiting a long time to get the results, you can get the results here because you can. It's almost like a shortcut. You're jumping ahead. It's like a time machine. I'm going to jump ahead to where the results are because this experience has given it. So, listen, Mitch, I'd love to. I really would love to carry on talking because there's so much to get at. But I did say as we were wrapping this up, is there any gems that you sort of like that we've not covered that you think I should be telling people about this? Is there anything that you think that the viewers would like to know about your success with UpViral?
The thing that changed my life, really, in terms of that light bulb moment, was we all know contests, right? You know, dropping a business card in a fishbowl at the restaurant, those work. But the fact that UpViral has this ability to turn that onto steroids and get the person that dropped their business card in that fishbowl to invite 1, 2, or 3 friends into your campaign explodes your network. It's contests on steroids, and I'm not just trying to say UpViral is just the greatest, most awesome tool. It changed the way I was thinking about doing things because of that aspect. You can exponentially grow your business using other people's word of mouth. And word of mouth is the oldest form of marketing there ever was.
Well, I just want to say in closing, thanks for that, Mitch. But more importantly, I just want to say thank you and congratulations on hitting that milestone of 250,000 leads. I really do. Thank you for that. And congratulations. It is a heck of an achievement. And on behalf of Wilco, who I know, if he could be here, would be here to say it. But unfortunately, he's recording some videos as we speak right now. So on behalf of Wilco, myself, and the team, well done. Thank you very much, Mitch, for your time. I appreciate it. And we'll see you all. Thank you very much. We'll see you all again soon. And Mitch, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's a pleasure working with you.
And you. Take care.